Did you miss us? Yes. Welcome to Few Men in War podcast. This is episode number 2. We made it.
We made it. We are here.
I hope you enjoyed episode 1. A lot of life lessons, experiences. You got to know us. And now we're just gonna kind of deep dive. Today and always, we are going to be at our headquarters.
Yes.
We are at Wild Cigars and Culture in Burleson. We'll have the deets in the video so you know exactly where to come through. We have, as always, in the background, Mr. Nathan chilling, top billing, smiling like a Chester cat.
Yes.
Hello.
He says hello.
He said, hey. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Our platform is about educating, learning, and sharing over 40 life experiences while smoking cigars, and of course, bringing you along this journey. But of course, before we start, it's pairing time!
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So, today, I'm smoking a Macanudo Inspirado Green. It's new on the block, so we're going to check that out. What you got?
But Old Faithful, street taco.
We're going to have to...
Yeah, I'm going to have to expand
Yeah, we're going to...
a little bit more, but you know.
Yeah, I didn't see you pick that up. We're doing that next time.
I'll do something different next time for sure.
And come by as soon as you can.
Yes.
The humidor is like pregnant. It's like
Yes.
9.5 months. It's exploding with cigars, and she keeps going back to the Old Faithful.
Yes.
We're gonna fix that.
Yes. Come out and, help me choose a cigar.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I'd be able to meet you. You can tell me what cigar is great. Yes.
And you can go ahead and put it in the comments. We're actually excited to see what you have to say. So, our Jackson, and you know she has action. The one and only that completes our pairings for our libations.
Yes.
We have Kim Jackson.
Where is she? Is she there?
Hey, hello.
Tell us what we have.
Okay, today we have the wild tea. So we make our own hibiscus chamomile syrup. And it has lime juice, aviation gin, which is a little bit less on the botanicals. So,
Okay.
Not so gin-like, and an egg white. And then we basically spray paint our logo on top with some bitters.
That is
Which
huge.
you'll probably never even taste it. It
Really?
just sticks
Okay.
to the foam.
Oh, okay.
So, but it really pairs well with a day like today, which is kind of warm and muggy. And it goes with just about any cigar.
Ooh.
So you're easing into the season.
Yes.
I like that.
I like
right.
it.
Yeah.
It's here.
I like this.
You
I'm
got
excited to
protection
taste
on
it.
that, Kim. I like
right.
that.
You know
You're
it.
true Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you'll enjoy.
I'm sure we will.
Yes,
Okay.
we will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See
Thank
y'all
you
next
so much.
time.
All right.
Yes. So let's taste this. I'm excited to taste it. And so you can see like the name on here, Wild. So you have to come
Did you
out
see
and
it?
get this.
I don't think they can see
I don't know if they can see
But
it.
it's spray
That's
paint.
why you have to
You'll
come
see it in
out
the pictures.
and get it. So let's see here. Oh, this is good.
I was scared when she said egg white.
I was scared when she said gin. I'm not a gin fan ever since I was, 21. And story time.
Yeah, what gin was that?
I don't know. I was 21. I cannot recall.
Was it a bumpy face?
It was a gin that made me dance on the table at Applebee's.
Not the bees.
Yes, Applebee's. When I was 21, many, many moons ago. And I said, never again will I do gin. But this is amazing. It's a great spring drink. So yeah, you have to come out and try the signature wild tea.
Kim Jackson is the bar manager
Yes.
here at Wild Cigars and Culture. She's absolutely great.
So come out. And
Okay.
try it.
So our topic for today, the ideal partner.
Yeah.
This subject is so broad. So how I narrowed it down was to mention characteristics that should not change, right?
I like it. Okay.
Like, our aesthetics may change, money may change, growth will change mentally. But I have characteristics that I feel like should just be your core values part of it.
Okay. So your core values.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Lack of better words.
Right.
Did you come up with any?
I did, and now that we're talking about this is a great topic because it really breaks it down of what are your core values when you are dating. And if you don't know what your core values are, then how can you, find your match, if you will? So I encourage you, your homework, because I always have homework as a sex coach, is to write down what your core values are, or you could title it as your 5 characteristics that you want in your ideal partner. And be thinking about, truly what are your core values and what do you want to see that in a partner as well.
Do you think that really starts with having an identity first?
Yep.
So what if you don't know if you have an identity?
Then you are going to have to do some self-reflection.
Maybe this shows you whether or not a checklist on whether or not you have that together.
Right.
Okay.
It does. It gives you, an eye-opener, some understanding.
Yeah. You want me to start or you want to start?
Why don't you start? Because I like these.
Okay.
These are really good. Yeah.
Okay.
I like these.
My first one. You don't see things as they are. You see things as you are. So basically, I would like my partner to have a vision outside of just self, meaning one-sided.
Okay.
It seems like if you don't see the other person's side and you just see it in the perspective of how you want to see it and how you want it to be, then there is no room for compromise. And if there are things that you just know that you just won't compromise for, then you shouldn't even continue to rally down that hope in that relationship.
Right.
And I think sometimes we do make those compromises because the flesh wants what it wants.
And in any healthy relationship, compromise is needed on both parties. So, you just can't have one person, compromising and the other person is not. And so when you talk about just being one-sided, compromise is not being one-sided.
At all.
At all. So that was a good one. I would like my partner to have a vision.
But I got that quote. I can't even give it back to where I got it because it was a while back. But basically, you don't see things as they are. You see things as you are. So it's like trying to move forward, but you can't see past yourself. So that's what that number one is.
Okay. I like that. That's a good one. Okay, so my first one is intelligence. I'm big on the intellectual side, the sapiosexual. If you get to my mind, then everything else
that's it.
Will follow.
Yeah.
Like intelligence is top tier. It is key for me. And I used to have like a laundry list of what I wanted in a partner. I mean, it had to be this tall, this build, everything, this complexion. It's crazy. And I wrote it down. I remember I found it in my journal not too long ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was after my divorce. I was like, you know what? I'm going to write down everything that I want. It's like 20 things. And I'm glad we're talking about this because I would find these characteristics, especially the physical features in guys that I would meet. But they all had the same, we're going to talk about toxic personality. So yeah, so I have to change that up a bit. So, as we go through the list, you will notice that none of these have to do with the physical.
And that was my point because those things change. Now I might not want the 6'4" muscle body.
Yeah.
Hottie. I might want the broker who works 9 to 5 and takes care of me. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still dealing with that. Continue.
But yes, intelligence is key. So yes, that's my biggest thing. What is your number 2?
This is a big one.
It is.
You can't heal what you refuse to feel.
Preach. Say it again for the people in the back.
You cannot heal what you refuse to feel. If you do not want to attack what needs to be healed and just deal with it, sometimes with a vengeance, sometimes with kid gloves, if it's not dealt with, you're never going to heal. And you're just going to bring that into the next, to the next, to the next. To a point to where it's like, it isn't me, but if you're the common denominator of the same thing, it's you. And so at least be on a healing journey and identify what that looks like to be able to move forward.
Right.
I think that even if you haven't even started on the journey, you at least identified what's wrong. Because now I know what to look for and not to just totally count you out. Because everybody has something. And so it's better that I know than not know, because then if I start thinking the worst and it's me, and now I'm cataloging what I didn't do, like, what's going on? So, yeah, you can't heal what you refuse to feel.
And so with that, you know, as you are healing, do you date while you are in this healing process, or do you take time out to, you know, as you meet people, say, you know, I'm not ready to date?
Well, that's part of the compromise in dating, because you're always going to have something. Something's always going to be lingering.
Gotcha.
Doesn't matter what it is. Some people are healing from financial burdens. Some people are healing from getting over death. It's a lot, and it could be something that you think is so minute that you know you're strong enough to get over it, but that doesn't mean that that person is as you. Right. And that's what I had to learn, that just because I know that I can get over a lot doesn't mean everyone else is, whether they're a man or not.
Right.
Right? Humans are humans. So I think that it goes back to identifying. And it's up to you to make a choice on whether or not you're willing to go down that journey with that person.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, because it could take 5, 10 years. Are you willing to go with that on that journey? And it may be too much for you. But the real question is, how much time do you give it to see if you're willing to go down that journey?
Right.
But that's the tester. So do you just keep this strong hold of list like I have? You have to. And if you're strong about it, you can't, then you're out. You and I have a different outlook and analytics and things like that. So I think that we're able to deep dive and dig into that. But even then, sometimes we're like, oh, but he's da-da-da-da, so I'm okay. So I have to stand strong on this. So yeah, if you're willing to deal with what they've identified and you're okay with going down that journey, then go check on it.
You know, something that you said about realizing that, you know, everybody handles certain situations differently. And so, you know, you may meet someone and they tell you that they're, you know, healing from whatever that situation is.
Yeah.
And, you know, it maybe happened, I don't know, 8 months ago. And, you know, you may have this, you know, this thought like, well, you still grieving, or not grieving, but you are still, I guess, yeah, grieving for whatever it is or healing from whatever that is. And it's been 8 months and you haven't gotten over that yet. So that is where we have to do self-reflection and be like, well, that person isn't me. You know, I'm giving them some grace. They're going to take longer. I understand that. So I like that. That's good.
And really, you're just having health checks, because that's what I did with my children. We have a once-a-month health check where we're out and we have dinner, or we have dinner at home, or McDonald's or whatever. How do you feel? What's going on? And it could be something real crazy. I'm like, okay, but you have to listen. And sometimes they didn't have the tools to just tie stuff together. And sometimes us as humans don't either. Even though we're thinking they're adults and they should, everyone doesn't have that tool to put that together. So yeah.
So, you know, this ties into my number 2, which is effective communication. my person has to be an effective communicator. And what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
It really goes back to what we were just talking about, being able to communicate. Are you going through a healing process?
Mm-hmm.
Having those check-ins. My boyfriend and I, we have relationship check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading an article and it was like, well, if you get your car, maintenance checkup, you should do the same for your relationship. How is everything going? So effective communication is so important. Listening is part of, effective communication.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to understand, not to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Your nonverbal communication, as you're talking, what is your tone of voice like? Are you rolling the eyes? Are your arms crossed? All of this plays a big factor in, for me personally, and I think it should be for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
what your ideal partner is.
Mm-hmm.
Communication should be on there. How do they communicate with you, their friends, family? All of that.
Yeah.
So when you have these conversations, talking about checking in, they
Mm-hmm.
are able to articulate that. Mm-hmm.
And that's how you catch lies.
Yeah.
Because they forgot what they said in the other check-ins.
Yep. Mental note of what they said. Yeah. Something's maybe not adding up. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep. So effective communicator.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this is a great one. Energy goes where attention flows. You cannot leave Charlie unattended too long.
Please elaborate. Please elaborate.
How it starts is how it should end.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're starting off with positive measure and the communication is great,
Mm-hmm.
and my questions would lead into how the communication is going to be in the future. Meaning, are you dating? Are you dating other people?
Mm-hmm.
Did you just meet me and now you just starting to date me? Are you open to dating other people? Because sometimes those answers will help me determine on how you're going to fit me into your communication rotation.
Oh, I like that. Communication, rotation.
It's a
message.
It's a thing.
It is.
Especially when you're dealing with a man who has a strenuous job,
Mm-hmm.
who has to travel,
Mm-hmm.
who has family, I don't want to say issues, sometimes ailments. You have an elder in the hospital. You have older children,
Mm-hmm.
and you're dealing with them. It's so many different factors, but that's my number one. Anything else I can excuse, but if there's others in the rotation,
Mm-hmm.
then I need to understand how you're going to communicate with me. I can't have the why you didn't text me when you pursued me.
Mm.
I'm not going to beg you to reach out to me when you sought after me. Charlie was minding her own business.
So the chase,
Charlie was chilling in the cut.
the attention.
It doesn't even have to be about the chase.
Mm.
I want to make sure that you're not wasting my time. Or you could be that guy that wants to be chased. Like, I don't know what that means,
Right, right.
but I'm guessing it exists.
And it does.
Okay. So it's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. So I can't do the once a week. I already blocked you because it's time wasting. You're wasting my time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many things I do? You don't even want to hear about the drive here, okay? It's a lot.
Right, it's a lot.
It's both of us.
Mhm.
So if I'm going to give you my time, that really means something. Because you definitely can't get that back, right? So, yeah, energy goes where attention flows.
And you were talking about like with the rotation. So if you're dating multiple people, let the other person know.
Yeah.
Goes back to the effective communication. Say that. Say, I am, dating multiple people.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the ball is in my court to figure out, do I want to continue to get to know you
Yeah.
or not?
Because
But,
you might have a starting lineup.
Right.
A
I
high
may
five.
have my own team. Like,
Am I number
okay.
4, number 3? Like, just,
Exactly.
yeah.
So definitely let the other person know. Yes. And then talking about energy, sexual energy is key. We'll probably talk about that later too. But sexual energy has to keep, it has to be strong. It needs to be alive.
But don't be a perp at the beginning.
Well, no, not at the beginning, no. It's, once you get into the relationship, you were talking about the energy goes, where the attention flows. So you want to keep that sensual and sexual energy there once you get into the relationship. Because what happens sometimes is once that starts to fade away, now it's like maybe I should get attention elsewhere.
Yeah.
So this kind of ties into my number 3, which is being respectful. Respect is respecting my time.
Well, yeah.
Respect my time. Respect my peace of mind, my energy. Overall, just being respectful. Respect is key.
Part of the respect. Don't say, or, hey, Charlie, I bought the new such and such whiskey, and I got the new fire pit at the house with the new patio furniture. This really happened. And, I'm going to go to Whole Foods and I'm going to get us a charcuterie board, and I'd like for you to come over. We only met once at the cigar lounge. And I bought my own cigars, which I'm fine with. I think that's okay. Matter of fact, I think that's a great first date, right? Just to get to know each other.
Yeah.
But I'm not coming to your house. You can be, or I can be. So it's like, you don't know who I am.
Exactly. You should be just as concerned as I am.
I'm from up top, and that's a setup. Everything gone. So that's the respect piece I'm talking about.
Right.
Block. And he was actually a decent looking dude. He had a lot of things going on for himself. And I guess he was just already ready. No. Okay, continue. I'm sorry. I had to give you that piece.
No, that goes back to respect. All of this ties in, in together. Respect me, like I said, time, just, because respect goes into trust. And, all of these things, are building blocks for, a healthy relationship. And so, in the beginning we meet, you should be respectful enough to know I'm not coming to your house. You no. Why would you even think that would even be okay?
There's so many cooties out there.
It's so many people that's, like the first 48 people.
That's what I'm talking about.
Snapped.
Yeah. There are folks who travel around the world and haven't been caught and do things.
Yes. So, I love my life, and I'm not trying to get into a situation that I cannot get out of.
No.
And so, men, please be careful when you are wanting to invite someone over.
And don't go to the lady's house.
Right. Please don't do that.
You don't know if she's a stalkist or
It could be a setup for you.
Her whole lineup is outside waiting on you.
Yes. Because that has happened before. So, yes.
I know. Okay. Not over here.
So please, just don't do that. But yeah, respectful is my thing. What is your... We're on number 4. Number 4. What is your 4th one?
What you resist, persists.
Ooh.
So, I've actually had partners that were jealous of my success. But that was the same attribute that enticed you, that you liked about me, so you said. But then I realized that was something in yourself that you had wished for yourself. But it's not like it couldn't happen for you. What's for you is for you. The work, the drive, and everything that you put into it is what your outcome is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
No one's just going to give it to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't have jealousy in my partner. If your calling is your calling, and I just spoke on this today. And if you resist what your calling is going to be, that nagging in your brain is going to be persistent in it until you actually get it done. And so, if that's not in you, it's not going to work out.
Right.
And so, I think that anyone of flesh cannot hold me back. And sometimes we get into relationships that hold us back on who we are, and sometimes they take away our identities.
Mm-hmm.
And now we feel like not really empty, but we're getting into a place to where I don't even like this person anymore. And now I'm trying to find a way out because I can't even be me anymore. You're taking away my friends. There's me time. It's a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know that I'm striving for the better us, you can't say you want that and then be mad that I'm accomplishing it.
Right. And when you do get it, now you're upset because, I sought out to get this. And something you just mentioned about, they can take away from you.
Yes.
It was, forget where I saw it, I believe it was on Facebook. And they were talking about how people can, in relationships, depending on who you're with, they can take away that energy. You lose your identity. Mm-hmm. And what happens is you are in this toxic relationship. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, you look different physically.
Oh, yeah.
Because maybe you are, you're stressed out in the relationship. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're eating too much, not enough. Maybe you are drinking too much. And so it begins to change you. And I call those energy leechers. They're sucking the positive light out of you. And
that sounds like a vulture, though.
Yeah. And you're in this dark space.
Yeah.
So please be aware of that. And know when you see that, how to just stop it and be like, you know what, I can't go down this road.
Do you know I'm the finest when I'm not in a relationship?
Ooh. Wait. You are the finest when you're not in a relationship.
I mean... I looked like a whole pregnant giraffe a couple of months ago. And, a year ago.
Is it like the comfort food that...
No, I think it's the determination of what I'm talking about.
This right here.
That's what that you're taking me away from me.
And you lose your identity.
Yeah.
So the question, becomes, and this will be like food for thought. The question then becomes, why do we allow ourselves to lose our identity once we get into a relationship?
I can put
I've done that before too.
Well, one, you're comfortable, and it's like, okay, well, at least they're not a crackhead.
Yeah, they're not on the sugar booger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we don't want to start over.
Say it.
It's disgusting out there. Who wants to start over?
Mm-hmm.
I'm out there, but it's like, I got to do something because now I've heard if you're alone too long, you just kind of like comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. I don't want to get there.
Yeah. That'll be another episode. But yeah, just food for thought. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, ambition.
Okay.
Ambition / supportive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I need to...
That does go in line with what I just said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See how we're in sync?
I know.
We are in sync.
Yeah.
And didn't even know what we had written down before we even got here.
Didn't.
Yeah, at all. But yeah, he has to be ambitious, and, going out there and, fulfilling his goals. Mm-hmm. At the same time, like you mentioned, once you meet me, you see what I have going on and being supportive of that as well. So being my cheerleader, that's a big thing for me is ambition. You have to. I see. Yeah. Ooh, so we are on the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So, just a quick rundown. Intellectual, effective communicator, respectful, ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is...
So this one is about being consistent.
Okay.
The way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Oh, say it again, please.
The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And now, I guess that's how, when my father would say, when you're dating a guy, see how he treats his mother, because he's consistent with the women that he deals with. And I don't think anyone really realizes that. And it's crazy because I was dating a guy and he was so stingy. And I was like, are you an only child? And he was like, no. And I'm a giver, I'm a sharer, it's whatever. But when I say he's stingy, he was stingy with himself. So if you're stingy with yourself, you can be stingy with everybody.
Right.
Like, why are you wearing $2 socks? And you know you're gonna get holes in them. You gotta go to work. And you continue to wear them. You will not buy no more socks. I don't know how I dealt with this for like 7 months. It was the same socks.
The same?
I bought him some more socks. He wore them. But why didn't you didn't buy yourself some socks?
Yeah, that's creepy vibes.
It's a lot of selfishness. But you stingy with yourself. So really not selfish? You just stingy.
You just stingy. And that goes back to what you were talking about, identity. Like, you are stingy with socks.
But it also goes back to healing.
And
because
healing, yeah.
something could have happened to where, I can't buy this because something might happen.
Right.
So damn them socks.
And I'm holding on to this.
You just
this
don't.
right here.
That's it. And that was before I started asking, living by this right here.
Yeah, and all of these little things can, once you start getting into the relationship, they surface into other things. They show themselves in like other things. So if he's stingy with socks, he could be stingy with his time. Just all of these little things we have to look at.
And that's what, because I was like, I thought we were supposed to know I got to do something else. And then when that won't work out, you call me an hour later. I'm like, bro, you canceled. Anyway.
Yeah, so these are like, talking about what the 5 ideal characteristics are in your partner. If you are just tuning in, this is what we are talking about. And so we've given our list of characteristics. And so we are on the last one. And mine is sense of humor. It's part of my top 5 is sense of humor. Making me laugh, have to have a good time, be silly and goofy.
I didn't think about that because I make my own self laugh.
Sense of humor is key. Yes,
It is.
Serious. Everything that's going on in this world, sense of humor is so important.
It helps judge kind of where they are too in spirits too, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that was like my last one. So we want to know, what are your characteristics? And so we reached out to good old social media, and we had some people to.
Oh, y'all wild! Like
yes,
months ago, y'all wild.
We had some questions, and we had some people to chime in, and so we're gonna kind of mix these up a little bit to share comments that was posted as well as these questions that we have. The first one. So Charlie.
Yeah.
Why are you so toxic?
So, I was talking to my mother about a month ago. And I always thank her for her blessings. I'm still working on my ancestors' blessings. I haven't touched hers yet. That's how I'm just running these streets, right? I'm just covered in smooth, right? So, I said, Mom, you and my dad got together. Oh, both of you just so gorgeous, and you just made me, I'm just glad about my genetic makeup. And I was like, you know what? Now I see why people say, why are you so exotic? Really? And so I'm like, thank her all the time. Like my skincare regimen, like everything. Like, thank you, mother. I love you. So that's why I'm exotic, because, you know, my family and my genetics, and I take care of myself. And so, yeah.
Charlie, the word was toxic. Not exotic.
So we're gonna work on your wordplay, because you know what? Texas Instrument, speak and spell. It is a Texas Instrument.
Wait, I remember speak and spell.
Right, we're gonna get you one, because I don't know how you're rearranging these words, and I don't appreciate it or like it.
Really, Charlie? Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on to the next one, because clearly she just kind of overlooked that one. So, but I'm not toxic. I'll just say that. I'm not.
You are exotic.
Well, I love it. Wordplay. Okay. So we're just gonna move on.
Okay.
When was your last date? When was your last date?
Ooh. A real date?
Mm-hmm. A real date. This drink is so good, y'all.
It is.
Y'all have to get it.
I had so in between this date, it's been a year. So I had a friend of mine take me out to dinner,
Oh, nice.
you know,
Okay.
on my birthday.
Nice. Okay.
But it was friend, like we're,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, so not like a date of intention of continuing. No.
Okay. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been a while. Okay. So my last date was Saturday. Went to Longhorn.
Pack up my shit.
Went to Longhorn. It was amazing. Yes, had a great time.
As you should.
Yes.
And how long have you been dating?
4 years.
Uh-huh.
4 years.
And it's long distance. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
And it's
that.
working.
Yes, we're gonna talk about long distance. Yeah, but yeah, Saturday was the last time that we went out. I really want to get to some of these comments quickly before we get into the next question.
Okay.
So let me pull this up with good old Facebook here, and let me go on. So I posted this question to Facebook friends. And I asked, what are your top qualities in a potential partner? So several people commented, free thinker, emotional intelligence, and ambitious. Loyalty, intellectual know-how. Please know how to have a decent conversation with me in public. What a young man wrote. Self-awareness, accountability, self-love. And let's take a pause here for a minute. As we are thinking about what we want in a potential partner, and you use these adjectives, what do they really mean? When you say, self-love, for example, okay, that means, is that self-care? I guess sometimes we may have to ask ourselves, what is a free thinker? What does that mean? So I just, challenge you when you think about these things, what do they truly mean?
That's what I ask all the time. Like if there's a guy who may reach out to me on social media and say, can I be your friend? And I say, what does that mean to you? Because I don't want to take that out of context.
Right.
And just say that you're being a creep. Because you may not be using the traditional definition of what friendship is.
Right.
So I always ask, what does that mean to you?
Right. So, just think about that as you are, writing these characteristics down. What does that mean and truly look like? Okay. Quickly, accountability was like the number one thing. Everyone said accountability.
Can you apologize?
Yes. Can you apologize? Yes. And can you yourself apologize?
Yeah.
Yeah. Loyalty, consideration, of course, intelligence. One young man said drop dead sexy. Intelligence was number 2.
Okay.
And attentiveness.
Don't leave me unattended.
Goes back to your number 3. Yeah. The next question was, drum roll please, Would you move out of Texas for love?
Charlie wasn't supposed to still be in Texas. When my last daughter graduated college, I was supposed to be gone.
Ooh.
But my mother's here. My grandsons are here.
Right.
So that's what's really keeping me bonded. It would have to take a hell of a man to get me to uproot without doing it on my own. I don't know what those factors look like.
Right.
I have to go ahead and look into that. So right now, I would say no. It would have to be a work in progress, and it would definitely have to see about the long distance route first, kind of what you're doing, just to see if I even like you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of work. Like to move out of state, you know, to go to somewhere new. Yeah, we're going to circle back to that when we talk about long distance relationships.
Yeah.
Like, is that something you would do? Me personally, would I move out of Texas for love? No, I would not do that. No. Number 4, would you date with young children involved?
No.
Yeah, no, that's enough for me.
I'm a grandmother. And I can pick them up, love them, take them to their favorite restaurant, give them a kiss on their chubby cheeks, and send them on their way back to their mama.
Yep.
And Gigi loves you. Forever. What you said you need some sneakers? I'm a cash out. Go get your sneakers.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I don't want to have to compete or deal with a mother. I knew that when I had my single stages of my divorce, I didn't even date that whole time.
Right.
And that was a period of like 8 years. When they actually got cars, we're about to go to high school, college. Really, college is when I started dating again. No men came to my house. It wasn't none of that. They didn't know what was going on. I went to work, came home. So I couldn't do it. I'm in a selfish point in my life as far as me wanting my person and their time. And I don't want to share that. And so he may be the one, I don't know. But he's going to be somebody else.
Yeah, he'll be the one for someone else.
Yeah.
No, I get it though. Like, I met a great guy. We were, cool. Everything was fine. But he wanted to have more children. He already had a 13-year-old at the time. And my 2 boys they're in their teens. I'm not having any more kids. Like, the shop is closed. No, not happening. So it was one of those things where we understood that, we can still be, good friends. He's dating someone else now. But you have to realize that this may be a good person. They're just not the right one for you. That goes back to your core values. What do you want? And so dating someone with young children, like my boys are 18 and 16 now.
My youngest is 20.
I'm good.
About to be 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it though.
Yeah.
Because it's attention, it takes up time.
That's it.
Yeah.
I gave most of my life to other people, my children, husbands. I want to live my life and have the freedoms of coming and going.
Yeah.
And not that responsibility.
Right.
Now, if you have older children, teens that are about to go on, then we can consider.
And you are getting ready to be an empty nester. Yeah, that's a little bit different. Yeah, so like my boyfriend, he has 2 older children. They are in their 20s. So this is a good balance.
You guys have commonalities to that.
Yeah.
So that works.
So it works. So, you have to ask yourself this. So, yeah. And then number 5, this has been something that we've seen on social media. It's been in magazines. It's a hot topic. Would you marry and live in separate homes?
This guy asked me this for real. Like
for real?
Yes, like a couple weeks ago.
Like serious?
Yes. And I said, well, who's buying the house? Is it the house I live in? What? Because aren't you supposed to be the provider and I'm supposed to be the helpmate? So why get married? I said, why don't you just buy like a big house and I'll live in one wing and you live in the other. And when we feel like being bothered, then I'll come see you for a minute.
Right.
And I'll go back and be about my business.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, I didn't think about that. I'm not get married to you and live in another house.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
That's crazy.
No, that's a no for me.
Go overseas and go buy your wife or something. No.
Like, would you marry and live in separate homes?
I need comments.
Absolutely
I need
not.
comments on that and how you think that's going to work.
Yeah.
And if that's working for you, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, and how are you making that work? And, you know, why did you choose to do this is what I would want to know as well.
Mm-hmm.
So please comment, let us know what your thoughts are on this topic. Let us know what your characteristics are for your ideal person. We have shared ours.
Yes.
We want to know what yours are as well. So as we move on into the next segment before we close out, drum roll please. What you got going on, Charlie? Are we on that? Did I jump the gun?
What's that?
Yeah, upcoming events.
So
Yes, what you got going
we
on?
want them to check our platforms.
Yes.
Because I don't want events to time out
Yes.
versus when they happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to televise the events and then they change.
Right.
And now they televise, right? So please hit up our medias. They're going to be posted in this video. And let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll put them on our social media platforms. Matter of fact, our platforms are there. If you subscribe, ask to join, we're going to accept you. And then you can send your flyers of events, or if you would like to, leading into this, be a sponsor.
Yes.
Then we can go ahead and do a shout out, have your product, talk about it. Eventually, we're going to even have guests. Like, if I can't make it to the show, Twyla's going to have a guest, vice versa. We're going to keep this thing going.
Yes.
So, again, reach out to the platforms, and we will respond back to you in a timely manner. Shout outs, of course, we want to give it up to Wild Cigars and Culture.
Yes.
They're located in Burleson. Nathan, can you please tell us the address out loud, please? I'm so unprepared.
For the shop.
For your business, Wild Cigars.
301 Hidden Creek Parkway, Burleson, Texas.
301 Hidden Creek Parkway, Burleson, Texas. Zip code, Nathan.
76028.
76028. There you go. Come check out this immaculate
You have
humidor.
to. You have
He
to.
packed this thing to the brims. We were damn near late for the show because we were in there just scoping. He's looking like, hurry up and get your stuff so we can tape.
It's so sexy in there.
Oh my gosh.
So sexy. You have to come out, check it out. The humidor, just how he's changed a few things with the aesthetics, and check out the patio. If you like to sit outside and smoke.
Oh, and he made some changes to that patio. There's going to be
Yes.
so many events out
Amazing.
there. Stay tuned. We talked about some things in collaboration. Wait on that. It's happening this summer. It's going to be all the way popping.
Yes.
It's going to be jumping like a double Dutch showcase.
I
A
love
double
it.
Dutch battle. Just
I love it.
Ba, ba,
I
ba,
love
ba, ba. It's going to be
Yeah.
jumping.
I love
So, again, sponsors, reach out.
it. Please do. Please do. Sponsors, reach out. And so, for the next show, we have, some different topics that we have been brainstorming about.
Are you going to pick one or is it going to be a surprise?
I think it'll be a surprise.
Because there's so many, we can't decide
I
which
know.
one.
Yeah, and share, what you would want us to talk about.
That's what we've been asking.
Yes. So, we have comments that not comments, but we have topics that we can think of. But we also want to hear from you. Please like, subscribe, share. Also on YouTube, hit that notification bell so you can know when the next show is coming up for those events and those topics that we are talking about. So make sure that you do that so you don't miss out on the next show. Yes.
And you get to see our lovely faces.
Yes. Get to see your lovely faces. It is April Fool's. Yeah. But this is not an April Fool's show.
It's not.
This is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping it real.
No games.
Yes. So remember, go out and have good sex.
Yeah. I will, eventually. But Charlie and Twyla love you.
Smooches.
Nate Dogg does too.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.